Hollyland has done it again, guys. This time is the VenusLiv 2. If you look at the Venus 1 and the Venus 2, where the buttons are still the same. You have the USB-C output, you have the HDMI output, you have the LAN, and you have the SSD card. Next to the side, you have the function button, you have the microphone, and then you have the power button. Now, if you look at the VenusLiv 2 and the V1, on the V1, all you have is the logo. Whilst on the V2, you do not have the logo. You have the VenusLiv, and then you have the V2 at the top. If you look at the record button on the V1 just says record. Whilst if you look at the record button on the V2, now it says live. I guess that's practically the only major difference in terms of the body. Other than that, the build is still pretty much the same. The moment you power the V2, it takes 10 seconds to come up. When you power the V1, it takes 25 seconds to come up. Another thing you notice is the change in the user interface. The icons are very catchy, very colorful. Compared to the V1 is just very basic. Everything is basically black and white. When you click on menu on the V2, there is now a new introduction. It's called the toolbox. Now, in the toolbox, you now have those features that were initially in the V1, but now in the V2, of course, with more colors, you have the scene, you have the pro mode, you have the skin tone, that's new. You have the remove background, that's new. You have the overlay, that's new. You have the color, you have the live recording and more settings. Within the scene mode of the very first version, the V1, it gives you just very few options on how to manipulate the lighting of the camera. On the V2, you have 4 major options. You have the auto option, you have the day mode, and then you have the 2-point and the 3-point. Now, what I love most about the update to the V2 are the last 2 options, which is the 2-point and the 3-point. Now, I noticed that when I shifted to the 2-point, it then gives you the opportunity. It's presuming that you have 2 lights that you're going to use. So the lighting of the camera automatically changes. Now the camera is not doing the lighting for you. It's leaving you with the option of how you want to light. Now, the 4th feature that you get to notice on the V2 is how it shoots. On the V1, you can only shoot at 1080p. That's the highest you can go. Now, on the V2, you have the capacity to shoot at 4K. The 5th addition to the V2 is the memory. The memory that comes with the V1 is 32 gig. The memory on the V2 is actually 128 gigabyte. That's 4 times the amount of memory on the V1 installed on the V2. I mean, the V1 is good, but the V2 is way better.